Well, just focusing back here in Australia, Access Economics this week released a report proclaiming that retailers can expect a tough 18 months ahead. One of the reasons that they say for that is that the federal government's stimulus is going to fade, and certainly growth in household income is weakening. For a closer read on the sector, though, we're joined in the studio by Chris Hitchen from Getprice. And Chris, interesting report that they released with saying that the stimulus would be fading away, and particularly, of course, you would have been interested to hear that retailers, the forecast is for them to have a tough 18 months. Is that what you're seeing at the moment, or is there any expectation being factored into that by retailers that you're speaking with?
Yeah, there's a lot of nail biting going on, Brooke. I think people aren't really sure what's going to happen. They weren't sure what was going to happen when the stimulus was released. It had an effect. Retailers are now hoping that that won't die away too quickly. Yeah. There was also a sort of a counter report from Dun & Bradstreet. They surveyed retailers in Australia, and just over 30% of the retailers they surveyed expect profits to increase in the December quarter, and about 20% expect them to decrease. So, you know, there is still some optimism. And at the moment, retail sales are holding up well. And I think online is it's a microcosm of the retail world, and it's a little bit different. It doesn't behave quite in the same way. And online tends to be where the value consumer goes to, this whole drift to thrift that we've talked about in the past.
Yeah, sure. And you're looking at, I mean, you're mentioning the December quarter, of course, that's Christmas. So people are pretty happy about the Christmas that they've got coming up. And I guess consumers really gear up at this point as well, don't they? Especially online. Do you find that? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And you'd be pretty worried if the December quarter wasn't a good one for retailers. We've seen also that Google were talking this week about how consumers have already started their Christmas shopping. And at least the research phase of that, I know it's scary. You know, at least they're going online to check the type of products they're going to buy, to check prices and so on, and to gear up for Christmas. Google also surveyed consumers this week and said that 50% now research products online before they shop in store. And I think the big retailers in Australia get this now, and I reckon in certain demographics it's probably much more than 50%. If I survey my friends and colleagues, everybody does their research online, if not buys online as well. And we've seen the big retailers in the last couple of months really start to gear up in terms of how can they offer a better service online, and big investments starting to happen in the top 20 retailers in the country.
Names like what? Well, we still don't have Myer really online, or David Jones.
No, but these guys have all. So the two you mentioned have employed heads of online. Woolworths have employed the head of online from Tesco in the UK. So some serious experience coming into the market, and big budgets ready to be spent on gearing up for e-commerce, which is great to see.
They're just a bit slow off the mark, that's all.
They are, but you know, when they come, I think they'll come in a meaningful way.
Yeah, sure.
And they understand that American retailers and other sophisticated overseas retailers are moving into the Australian market, and that it's not enough to be online now. They actually need to have a very compelling consumer offer online. And it's exciting to see the change happening. I think a lot of Australians have been waiting for this to happen. You
mentioned the different demographics and how much they're involved in online, and particularly when you speak to older people, they still sometimes got that concern about safety online and putting your credit card details out there as much. Is that what you're seeing reflected in the market?
I think that credit card safety online has become a bit of a thing of the past. These days, the merchant is actually the one that has to refund if something goes wrong. So consumers are protected online in Australia by the law. And certainly in the late 90s, at the start of the first internet boom, it was a concern. These days it's less of a concern. There are also alternative payment methods. In Visa's survey, they said 78% of users are now satisfied with payment security. So I think that, and it probably is different in different demographics. Older people are more concerned, but that concern really it shouldn't be there.
And like with everything moving online, things are becoming much more portable. And I was interested to see that Getprice has actually got the iPhone application now, which you're seeing a lot more of. Why did you think that was important to have?
I think the iPhone has just become the new weapon of choice for the discerning shopper. So some people are using the web, going and buying online there and then. Other people use it to research and then go in store. And we've seen a lot of customers on Getprice printing out. We measure the number of people that print out a certain product and all the prices and walk into store, and the merchants tell us this as well. So we figured it only made sense to give people access to that on the go, and now with the iPhone application for Getprice, it's a great way for us to offer the same experience in store. So you can imagine being in store, and it's not just about trying to bargain for a better price, which obviously is massively empowering for a consumer. It's also about understanding the difference in value. So it's not just about the price, but can I get, perhaps the guy in store is offering me a better warranty, and what do I value as being more important, and it's different for everybody.
Yeah, it becomes a really powerful tool for consumers because even, I mean, it sounds silly, but even, you walk in with your iPhone and say, to the shop owner, I've got that price, what can you do for me? And the power's really in the consumer's hands.
Absolutely, and I think that retailers are getting used to people coming in armed with more information. And I wouldn't expect every retailer to match the bottom price that can be found online. I think it's up to the retailer to actually explain to the consumer that, we offer, on top of that, great service, good returns policy, a good warranty, etc. And it's up to the consumer to decide. We're just trying to give them the information to do that.
A couple of good stats. You're in the top 5 of the lifestyle category applications on the Apple iPhone store, or sorry, I shouldn't say the Apple App Store. And also new records for Getprice: 2.8 million unique visits in August, up 500% year on year. And if that isn't an indication of what people are doing through hard times and where they're trying to get bargains, I don't know what is.
Absolutely, and I think it's a real shift in consumer behaviour. And we're seeing it, everybody now recognises that people are researching online and then going in-store or buying online with better information.
Yeah, and just a couple of items coming up here on these top search items. I think there are a couple more were flashed up just before that. But what trends are you seeing in the types of things people are looking for?
Yeah, so it's not just the iPhone that's smashing it. LG has a phone, the KP500, which is at the bottom end of the market. It's a really popular phone this month, the top one. And there's a $90 saving on that phone. There's a new Navman GPS unit out, the MY50T. It's the single biggest searched product on Getprice this month. And it's the lowest price, $324. That's a $49 saving. We're also seeing HDMI cables being bought online, I guess in line with flat screen television still selling very well. The Canon EOS450D digital camera, there's a $329 saving on exactly the same model. And last but not least, I know it's Carson's favourite, the GHD hair straightener.
Still very doesn't know what that is,
no,
you know that.
We have to get him one.
But Toby, it's cheapest is $255. Now that's an interesting one because I know from looking in the stores that if you go actually to the retailers, they have a flat price. They can't give a discount because of the GHD the GHD representatives that come in. They check the prices. They've got to stick to the same price, but online you can get it cheaper. So there you go. I had an issue with that myself. Exactly. Chris, always great to get you in and great insights, especially in a week when we had that big Access Economics report and the retail sales numbers which came out Wednesday. So appreciate your time and we'll chat next month. Thank you. That's Chris Hitchen there from Getprice. So coming up.